Jesus enters the city and people are shouting his name and praising him, there's this sense of excitement. This moment that we celebrate every Palm Sunday, I've always thought of this moment of triumph in Jesus' story. But actually, I think it also cost him something. See, I think that moment when Jesus walked into Jerusalem, it cost him his anonymity. Jesus had lived most of his life anonymous. He lived a regular life, and then even in his ministry, we see him constantly, healing people and then saying, but don't tell anyone who I am yet. But in that moment, as he's walking into Jerusalem, all of a sudden, people see him. His life is on display. Jesus, he laid down anonymity and he picked up vulnerability. And I think that is what Jesus asks us to do too as we follow him. Have you ever been in public and tripped or spilled your coffee down the front of you? I know I have way too many times. And the first thing that I do that I think everyone does when that happens is look around, who saw that? Did anyone notice? And we don't just do this with spilled coffee, we do this with our lives. We don't want people to see our brokenness. We don't want people to see our worst moments or the times that we fail or mess up. We like to keep those things anonymous. We like to live in anonymity so people don't know the worst parts of who we are. But Jesus, he actually demonstrated living the opposite way. See, as Jesus entered Jerusalem, his moment of triumph was public. But a few days later, as he died on the cross, that was public too. But here's why this is so important. Jesus, his greatest moment of shame and brokenness as he died on the cross was the platform for the greatest demonstration of God's grace that the world had ever seen. God does that for us too. When we live openly and honestly about the good parts about us, the bad parts about us, God can use all of it, our failures and our successes, to demonstrate his grace to the people around us. But it costs us our anonymity. It costs us living anonymously. So as we follow the example of Jesus, what's one way this week that you need to give up your anonymity and instead choose vulnerability? I don't think this means that we have to shout our stories from the rooftops, but I do think it means that we need to be open with the people in our lives. Maybe that's letting people know how you're really doing during quarantine. This is a hard time, and being honest about that is super important. Maybe it's sharing with a few close, trusted friends how things are actually going in your marriage. Maybe it looks like sharing your doubts, that you want to believe God is good so bad, but everything around you, all you see is pain and brokenness, and you're struggling to believe that God is good. How do you need to be open and honest with the people around you right now? I want us to be a church that lives vulnerably, that allows our brokenness and our redemption, our failures and our successes to demonstrate the grace of God to our city, to our country, to our world, and to the people around us.